Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Raw Law Unfiltered with your host, the DUI Guy Plus. Hashtag buckle up, folks. Sorry, I just had my video playing. I thought it was going to be muted, but here we go. All right. Today we're going to be doing something very, very special. We're going to be looking at the judge once again, only this time we're not going to be reading his reviews. We're actually going to be going in depth about the Judicial Code of Ethics of the Florida Supreme Court that he has violated with his conduct in the courtroom with at least the Preston versus Hales stalking case. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe at this point, like how far we've gotten. And this is all stemming from a stalking case and a judge who's simply refusing to follow the Constitution and disallowing, I should say, a person from exercising their First Amendment right, disallowing others from exercising their First Amendment right, and punishing Jeremy Hales from What the Hales channel. Shout out to you, Jeremy and George, for the speech of others. I mean, he made it abundantly clear in his one of the hearings that Jeremy is going to be punished if other people start speaking up about this, including myself and that umbrella guy and Megan Fox Ryder. So, but before we do this, I want to show you guys. Somebody sent this to me. A few of you sent this to me. There's a channel by the name of, just to start off on a light fun view, DJ underscore Rattis, Rattis. He's a fake, news, fake video, funny parody producer. It seems like, as I've seen, we've played one of his videos the other day. It was the Judge Craig DeThomasis. Now, this is another Craig DeThomasis interview. This is obviously, you're going to see very quickly, it is all fake, but it is hilarious. Listen to this. Go subscribe to him too. Like I said, it's DJ underscore Rattis, DJ Rattis. He's really good, and he can mimic Judge Craig Constantine DeThomasis's voice very, very well. Check this out. Dishonorable Judge C, DeThomasis making law, hashtag buckle up. I will never recuse myself. Watch this.
Good evening to the Otter Creek FL and the Shady Bunch Facebook group and DJ Rattis subscribers. Tonight we have an exclusive interview with the Dishonorable Judge Craig DeThomasis of the Levy County Courthouse in Bronson, Florida. Welcome to the show, Mr. DeThomasis, or should we call you by your official name, Dishonorable Judge Craig DeThomasis?
Dishonorable. You can call me Dishonorable Judge CD's nuts. Only joking, Craig DeThomasis is fine.
That was kind of rude and rather disrespectful, don't you think? Definitely not to the high standards a judge should be speaking. So let's get down to the nit and gritty of this interview. So Craig DeThomasis, there has now been 3 motions to have you recuse yourself from the Preston versus Hales case, and each time you have denied the request.
Right.
What is the real truth behind why you refuse these motions?
Well, it's coming up to re-election time. All my peers have a name for themselves in the courtroom. I want to make law. I want to make a name for myself. I want my peers to later refer to this case and use my findings to help them make their rulings. It's unfair to step down at this point.
It's unfair.
Plus, I owe a favor to my brother Silverman. When I ruled in favor of him in his divorce case against his ex-wife, I used the old saying, bros before hoes, and gave him everything he wanted. In return, he gave me a lifetime subscription to Blue Boy magazine.
So the rumors are true then. You are just biased against Jeremy Hales because you want to look out for Joshua Silverman, figuring he will cut you into some scheme with him again and get additional favors. Aren't you worried all this might blow up in your face?
Aren't you worried?
I'm the highest judge around these parts. Mr. Hales files and I stamp it with denied. Actually, it brings a grin to my face every time he does. I am the law, and there is nothing he or anyone else can do to stop me. I am the judge, jury, and executioner. Whilst I'm in power, no body even has the right to sneeze without my express permission to do so.
No sneezing
I've
in my
been following
courtroom.
this case, and I see Larry Foreman, the DUI Guy Plus, and Megan Fox Ryder have joined in and started following the case. Are you not worried about them exposing you as a fraud for the world to see?
Not in the slightest.
Not in the slightest.
Who is the world going to believe? Remember, I'm the man to suggest it to Lincoln to free the slave.
Who's the world going to believe? Some DUI lawyer and some rando writer, or me, the judge, the highest power in the world, in the land? Like, what? Oh, my God.
In the case, are you not worried about them exposing you as a fraud for the world to see?
Not in the slightest. Who is the world going to believe? Remember, I'm the man to suggest it to Lincoln to free the slaves, or some DUI attorney and a writer. Those two have nothing on me. Think of me as if Judge Dredd and the Terminator had a love child. That would be me. I am invincible. I'm not scared of them. I'm not scared of the world. As I've stated before, I am untouchable.
Those are some very bold statements you have made there. Did I hear you right, though? You suggested to Lincoln to free the slaves. Craig DeThomasis, how old do you think you actually are, and what drugs did you take prior to this interview?
I'm 50. I'm 60. Wait a minute. Let me look at my driver's license. Oh, bugger. Where did I leave my wallet? Let's just say I'm even 200 years old. I have a fountain of youth in my backyard made from distilled black water and gummy bears. As for drugs, on the weekends I go hiking and eat mushrooms. It's not a drug if it's grown from the ground.
Right. So are you on mushrooms right now?
No. What would give you a reason to think that?
Okay, then moving right along. Some people have suggested that you have a God complex, aka black robe syndrome. Do you have anything to say about that?
I am a higher power than God. God had the power
Oh
to create
my
life,
God.
but I have the ability to not only make it, but take it too.
That almost sounds like a threat. Can you explain to me what your views are on the U.S. Constitution and the amendments?
No one who enters my courtroom as a defendant deserves the rights to have amendments. Only those who can prove their innocence can maybe have those rights back if they donate enough money to my reelection costs. If not,
I will reinstate your constitutional rights that you have a right to only if you donate enough money to my campaign. You're a genius, DJ Radis. You are a bloody genius.
I will ball gag their rights away until they
Ball
plead for
gag.
mercy. Remember, I am a greater power than God. I will make or break you.
Well, thank you for your time, Dishonorable Judge Craig DeThomasis. Do you have anything left you want to say tonight before you go?
Innocent people don't end up being taken to court. It's my court, my rules. If you don't
Innocent. That's actually a really scary phrase. I don't know if it was on accident or on purpose, but innocent people don't go to court. That is like literally a lot of judges, not just Judge Craig C. DeThomasis. You know, that phrase, it bugs me so much because it's so true. A lot of people are like, hey, if you're innocent, why you're never going to be in court, which is completely false. I represent a lot of people who are wrongfully accused, and we get either acquittals or prosecutors dismiss their case. I mean, it's very, very common. It's actually terrifying how common it is. Sorry, I just need to. There we go. There we go. That's good. Anyway, let's finish the video.
Innocent people don't end up being taken to court.
Yes, they do.
It's my court, my rules. If you don't like them, you better pay me off.
I feel the world finds you
Yeah.
gross, negligent, and should have no place judging anyone. Don't forget to click subscribe, like the video, leave a comment.
That's hilarious. Go subscribe to his channel, DJ Radis, DJ_Radis, RATTIS. Oh my God, it's hysterical. All right, let's get to our main event, what you guys all came here for. The Florida Supreme Court Judicial Ethics Advisory Committee has a code for judicial conduct. So they have a code for lawyers, much like the American Bar Association. You know, we have here in Kentucky, the Kentucky Bar Association, promulgated by the Kentucky Supreme Court. For lawyers, there's a judicial canon as well for judges here in Kentucky. Same with Florida. This is the Code of Judicial Conduct for the state of Florida, an online version, so people can, you know, take a look at it. So let's start. First of all, what is it for? The preamble, right? Just so to give it like a little by way of introduction. Our legal system is based on the principle that an independent, fair, and competent judiciary will interpret and apply the laws that govern us. The role of the judiciary is central to American concept of justice and the rule of law. Intrinsic to all sections of this code are the precepts that judges individually and collectively must respect and honor the judicial office as a public trust and strive to enhance and maintain confidence in our legal system. And this is exactly what Judge DeThomasis is eroding, is confidence in our legal system. If one judge can act this way, then all of them can act this way. And one bad apple can poison the rest of the apples, you know, rot them all away. The judge is, they continue, an arbiter of facts and law for the resolution of disputes and a highly visible symbol of government under the rule of law. Now, notice this language. I find this fascinating right here. Again, this is the Florida Supreme Court Code of Judicial Conduct's preamble. He's a highly visible symbol. It's written right there. He's a highly visible symbol. So what does that mean? Every time that he wants the cameras out of the courtroom, anytime that he wants to silence Jeremy, he is the spotlight is on him, and he cannot say like, no, get the cameras out. I don't want the cameras in here. No, the spotlight is literally on you, and we should have cameras in every single courtroom of the United States of America. And I'm glad that we have cameras to see his outrageous conduct. The Code of Judicial, and he should be removed from the bench. If I haven't said it already, I will say it, and I'll say it again. Hashtag buckle up. The Code of Judicial Conduct establishes standards for ethical conduct for judges. It consists of broad statements called canons, and it's spelled with one N, not two. I think one of them is I don't know why I spell it with two. I think some places they spell it with two N, some places spell it with one N. Specific rules set forth in sections under each canon, a definition section, application, text, etc., the commentary, which we'll get to. There are rules for a reason. They are rules of reason. They should be applied consistent with constitutional requirements, statutes, and other court rules and decisional law, and in the context of all relevant circumstances, because each case is different. The code is not to be construed to impinge on the essential independence of judges in making judicial decisions. It is designed to provide guidance to judges and candidates for judicial office, to provide a structure for regulating conduct through disciplinary agencies. It is not designed or intended as a basis for civil liability or criminal prosecution, unfortunately. So you can't come after a judge civilly. By the way, I don't know if you all knew this. A judge actually has something known as absolute immunity. So you know how police officers have something called qualified immunity because it can be removed if their conduct goes beyond a certain level. Judges and even prosecutors have something known as absolute immunity. When they're acting in the capacity of a judge or a prosecutor, they cannot be sued, period, the end. That's absolute immunity. You can lift absolute immunity. Like, for example, the easiest example I can think of, like imagine if Judge DeThomasis would be so frustrated with, I don't know, Jeremy or his lawyer or whatever, that he leaped off from the bench and just punched Jeremy in the face. Okay? Absolute immunity would be lifted. Why? Because Judge DeThomas's act, in my example, would rise to the level of criminal battery and criminal assault. And so there is no immunity for crimes committed, right? Judges are removed for taking bribes and all of that. So they're not totally immune, but anything that they do within the capacity of their courtroom, such as make terrible rulings, you can't sue them for, and which is really unfortunate. Okay. Furthermore, the purpose of the code would be subverted if the code were invoked by lawyers for mere tactical advantage in proceedings. That's why it's very rarely invoked, almost never. The text of the canons and sections is intended to govern conduct of judges and to be binding upon them. It is not intended, however, that every transgression will result in a disciplinary action. I mean, sometimes judges go outside the lines and it's not so bad. They'll get a little, don't do that again. It'll be like, sorry. This is not one of those situations with Judge DeThomasis, as we will see. Whether disciplinary action is appropriate and the degree of discipline to be imposed should be determined through a reasonable and reasoned application of the text and should depend on such factors as the seriousness of the transgression, whether there is a pattern of improper activity, and the effect of the improper activity on others or on the judicial system. And this is going to become very, very important in this case. The Code of Judicial Conduct is not intended as an exhaustive guide for the conduct of judges. They should also be governed in their judicial and personal conduct by general ethics standards. So even when they're not sitting on the bench, they should comport to a certain level of decorum, is what this says. The code is intended, however, to state basic standards which should govern the conduct of all judges and to provide guidance to assist judges in establishing and maintaining high standards of judicial and personal conduct. Okay, so that's the preamble. Now, we're going to skip the definitions because there's no need to go through that. Let's go straight to Canon 1. This is the first canon that I am, well, you'll see. I won't even say anything. I'll let you all decide. But you will see in a minute what I mean when I say he violated this one. Okay? Canon 1. Code of Judicial Conduct, Canon 1. A judge shall, it's a must. Anytime you see a shall, that's a must. Shall uphold the integrity and independence. Sorry, my nose is really itchy today for some reason. I'm trying to get on Megyn Kelly's show, by the way. I don't know If any of you watch her, I think she's spectacular and awesome and funny and great. And I agree with a lot of the things that she has to say. I think the show, this issue is going to be really, really good for Megan and for us, of course. Everybody, that's the beauty of the internet. Everybody, profits in terms of information when it comes to this sort of thing. So I don't know if anybody has any direct connection or contacts to her, but she's on my radar. A lot of people have been saying that you should get on her show or whatever. And I've never been. I know like Nick Rekieta was on Alex Jones at one point last year when that whole thing exploded with the trans stuff. But I don't know. I don't know how to get her attention. And we shall see. Did we just get a raid? Did we just get a raid from Megan Fox raid? Oh, hello, Megan Fox fans. Thank you, Megan Fox, for the the raid. Speak words, Larry. No, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. So yeah, Megan Kelly, I'm trying to get on her show, and I think she's going to be interested in this. Like, I really, really do. So if you guys have any contacts or know how to get on her show, that would be fantastic. So back to the show. All right. An independent and honorable judiciary is indispensable to justice in our society. I mean, this goes without saying. Without a properly run courtroom with judges doing good work, the whole system would collapse. A judge should participate in establishing, maintaining, and enforcing high standards of conduct and shall personally observe those standards so that the integrity and independence of the judiciary may be preserved. The provisions of this code should be construed and applied to further that objective. And again, high standards of conduct were not met in Craig Hendry is the other gentleman that I made a video on. We're talking about Jeremy Hales right now. Jeremy Hales. In Jeremy Hales' case, it is clear that Judge DeThomasis has not met the high standard of conduct, clearly, by his actions. I mean, it's all but clear at this point. He is not giving his lawyers a chance to speak. He's not giving his lawyers an opportunity to argue the case. He has not even heard the merits of Lynette. I mean, Lynette is the one suffering too. She's the one alleging all this stalking stuff. And by the way, we almost finished her petition yesterday. We have not finished it. There's still the supplemental. So I'm not joking when I say this, we are 10% done. We have about 90% more to go. Maybe we'll skip through some of it. I will do it again tomorrow and possibly Saturday and Sunday. So we have a lot more content to cover. But in terms of page wise, her petition for injunction for stalking against Jeremy is literally 300. It's a 330-page supplement and a 50-page original petition. So it's just shy of 400 pages. So that's buckle up. There's lots more stuff coming. And of course, tonight, at 3 p.m., so in about an hour and a half, I'm going to be on Popcorn Planet. So Andy's, I always mispronounce his last name, Popcorn Planet, Andy. I'm just going to call him Andy. I'm going to be on his channel in about an hour and a half. And then tonight, I'm going to do the motion to disqualify plus the writ and the motion for stay. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, stay tuned. All of that is coming today. Okay, all of that is dropping today. Popcorn Planet at 3. I think Jeremy's going to have his video posted on his channel at 5:30, and then at 6 p.m. I'm going to go live doing this stuff, continuing on this saga, because this is just. There's so much, and we need to catch everybody up on what is happening, because there's a lot of people interested on what is happening, because we have a rogue judge that refuses to listen. All right, so the commentary on the high standards of conduct, which again is very short. The first canon is just, it's so self-explanatory. There is deference given to the judgment and rulings of courts, which depends upon public confidence in the integrity and independence of judges. The integrity and independence of judges depend in turn upon their acting without fear or favor. Although judges should be independent, they must comply with the law, including the provisions of this code. Public confidence in the impartiality of the judiciary is maintained by the adherence of each judge to this responsibility. I mean, listen to that language. Listen to how powerful that language is. In public confidence, you guys, you all, in the impartiality of Judge DeThomasis is maintained, that each judge maintains the responsibility that he has integrity, independence, without fear or favor. And so far, it looks like he is favoring Silverman very, very clearly, because Silverman is rarely interrupted. Meanwhile, Randy is always interrupted by Judge DeThomasis. He's so partial. You know, we even joked about the whole cherry picking should be tattooed on his forehead, because he cherry picks arguments, he cherry picks sides, he cherry picks what he wants to hear, he cherry picks who he wants to listen to. It's just, you know, hashtag buckle up. This is unbelievable. Conversely, violations of this code diminishes the public confidence in the judiciary and thereby does injury to the system of government under law. He's literally injuring right there. There it is in the canons. He injures the system of government by acting in the way that he is acting. Okay, let's go to Canon 2. And we're not going to cover all of them. We're only doing 1, 2, and 3. Okay, buckle up. Code of the Judicial Conduct, Canon 2. A judge shall avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all of the judge's activities. A judge shall respect and comply with the law and shall act at all times in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. So this is kind of like the previous comment that we just read, only now it's in Canon 2. Fails. He fails with flying colors on this one. A judge shall not allow family. Okay, we don't really have like family here. Social, we definitely have an issue of his social connection to Silverman. Political, also potentially Silverman and DeSantis, or other relationships, which we don't know if there's any connection between him and Lynette Preston herself, to influence the judge's judicial conduct or judgment. A judge shall not, that's a must, shall not lend the prestige of judicial office to advance the private interests of the judge or others. So if he's using this case as a tool to like become more popular and get more eyeballs on him, which by the way, he successfully did already. I mean, everybody's talking about him and not in the way that he would have hoped. He can't put his own private interests above the interest of the people that he is presiding over cases in. Okay. Nor shall a judge convey or permit others to convey the impression that they are in a special position to influence the judge, which sometimes feels like, remember when what did Megan call it? Litigating from the bench. That's a new one for me. I mean, I've never seen that before. Litigating from the bench. When Lynette did not have a lawyer, the judge was basically acting as both attorney for petitioner, Lynette Preston, and as a judge in a capacity of, I'm going to be ruling on all the motions and making a decision. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. You can't do that. And he does that. And he did that. And we have video of him doing it. A judge shall not testify voluntarily as a character witness. And I think it was bordering on actually doing that. A judge should not hold membership in an organization that practices invidious discrimination on the basis of race, sex, religion, or national origin. Members in a fraternal, sororal, religious, or ethnic heritage organization shall not be deemed a violation of this provision. And here's the commentary. And the commentary is not that long, but we may skip around just to get the nitty gritty, because it's so self-explanatory. Canon 2A, right? So 2, this is Canon 2.A. There's B and there's C. So on 2A, irresponsible or improper conduct by judges erodes public confidence in the judiciary. A judge must avoid all impropriety and appearance of impropriety. Again, this is like spelling it out to a 5-year-old. Like, for God's sake, this is easy stuff, and he's violating it. A judge must expect to be the subject of constant public scrutiny. Let me say it louder for the people in the back, because remember, one of his big things was, well, you are interrupting the judicial process, Mr. Jeremy Hales, because I have people calling, what do you call it? Call flooding, flood calling, whatever it is, calling the office. No, it is literally right here in the second canon. Buckle up, Judge DeThomasis. A judge must expect to be the subject of constant public scrutiny. You are constantly being watched. Your behavior is being watched. The public wants to know what you are doing in your courtroom, and you are not allowed to close the doors or say no more recordings, no more sharing. You can't make it simpler than this. A judge must therefore accept restrictions on the judge's conduct that might be viewed as burdensome by the ordinary citizen, right there, and should do so freely and willingly. We need to we need to take Canon A commentary right here, like this whole paragraph. This is the most important paragraph that maybe we will ever talk about. A judge must therefore accept the restrictions on his conduct that might be viewed as burdensome. So annoying things like call flooding, whatever you want to call it, he should do so freely and willingly. Examples are the restrictions on the judicial speech imposed by sections 3B, 9, and 10 that are indispensable to the maintenance of the integrity, impartiality, and independence of the judiciary, and we will get to those. I mean, come on. Come on. It is spelled out in the canons. You are on, the spotlight's on you, babe. The spotlight is on you. You can't hide from the light. You can't go into the darkness and say, well, I'm a judge. This is my courtroom. I get to run it how I want to. The whole world is watching. Hashtag buckle up, because it's coming. The prohibition against behaving with impropriety or the appearance of impropriety applies to both the professional and personal conduct, so both on the bench and off the bench of a judge. Because it is not practicable to list all prohibited acts, the prescription is necessarily cast in general terms that extend to conduct by judges that is harmful, although not specifically mentioned in the code. Actual improprieties under this standard include violations of law, court rules, or other specific provisions of this code. The test for appearance of impropriety is whether the conduct would create, in reasonable minds, with the knowledge of the relevant circumstances, that a reasonable inquiry would disclose a perception that the judge's ability to carry out judicial responsibilities with integrity, impartiality, and competence is impaired. And that's literally the case right here. The test is with a reasonable mind, like you all are the reasonable minds. All 6,000 of you in the chat right now, you are the reasonable minds. You are the reasonable people that this comment is talking about, Canon 2A. By the way, for those of you who want a, what's it called? To see this on your own, if you want to copy and paste it or whatever, I'm going to include the link in the description below. Okay. So if you want to see it, if you want to like make copies of it or print it, put it on the judge's desk, because he needs to see this stuff. He needs to understand this stuff. Tape it to his door, in his office. There's nothing wrong with that. He needs to be reminded, and maybe that will wake him up. Maybe it won't. I don't know, but I think it's very, very important that he understands. And this is right here. I'm not making this up. Here, I'm going to scroll up just for transparency's purposes. I didn't write this. This is on the Supreme Court of Florida website. There's the seal, Florida Supreme Court. I'm just scrolling down, Canon 2, Code of Judicial Ethics, right here. That's it. This one paragraph and this one little bit right here under 2A is he just needs to be aware that you can't hide in the darkness, Judge. You have to be in the light. Okay. Canon 2B, maintaining the prestige of judicial office is essential to a system of government in which the judiciary functions independently of the executive and legislative branches. This is taking you all back to high school civics class. We have three branches. We have the judicial, executive, and legislative, and they kind of have a checks and balances. Remember that triangle we all learned in like 6th grade, 7th grade? Well, here it is. It's written literally right here in the Canon 2B commentary. Respect for the judicial offices facilitates the orderly conduct of legitimate judicial functions. Judges should distinguish between proper and improper use of prestige of office in all of their activities. For example, it would be improper for a judge to allude to his or her judgeship to gain personal advantage, such as deferential treatment when stopped by a police officer. By the way, I have one of these shorts, I think it's on my YouTube channel already, of a judge basically saying, like, do you know who I am? And then the police officer apologizes. I'm sorry, judge. That's a violation of Canon 2B right here. Similarly, judicial letterhead must not be used for conducting a judge's personal business. So you can't be like honorable such and such with the letterhead when he's writing a letter to his credit card company asking why did they not remove a charge that he's been contesting. Although a judge may use judicial letterhead to write character reference letters, well, that's a little different when such letters are otherwise permitted under this code. A judge must avoid lending the prestige of judicial office to the advancement of the private interests of others. So not just yourself. You can't help others to be like, I am Judge so-and-so, and I want to help you further your business. So here you go. For example, a judge must not use the judge's judicial position to gain advantage in a civil suit involving a member of judge's family. In contracts for publication of a judge's writings, a judge should retain control over the advertising to avoid exploitation of the judge's office. As to the acceptance of awards, see commentary on 5D. Although a judge should be sensitive to possible abuse of the prestige of office, a judge may, based on the judge's personal knowledge, serve as a reference or provide a letter of recommendation. However, a judge must not initiate the communication of information to a sentencing judge or a probation corrections officer, but may provide such persons information for the record in response to a formal request. Judges may participate in the process of judicial selection by cooperating with appointing authorities, screening committees. Okay, I think we can skip this one. Judge must not testify voluntarily as a character witness, because to do so may lend the prestige of the judge's office in support of the party for whom the judge testifies. Moreover, when a judge testifies as a witness, a lawyer who regularly appears before the judge may be placed in an awkward position, having to cross-examine a judge. So they shouldn't be witnesses. A judge may, however, testify when properly summoned, except in unusual circumstances where the demands of justice require. A judge should discourage a party from requiring a judge to testify as a character witness. Character witnesses are people who are basically going to take the stand and say, I believe this individual because they have da-da-da-da-da, and I have personal knowledge of them, and I believe they're credible. And can you imagine the judge like testifying on your behalf? Your credibility would skyrocket through the roof. So that's what this rule is talking about, this commentary. Now, Canon 2C. Florida Canon 2C is derived from a recommendation by the American Bar Association and from the United States Senate Committee Resolution 101st Congress, second session, as adopted in 1990 by the United States Senate Judiciary Committee. Membership of a judge in an organization. So this has been a problem. Maybe judges were joining organizations like the Ku Klux Klan. Maybe they were joining other, like the Black Panthers or things like that. And I guess, it's not a bad idea to kind of say, look, maybe don't belong to those organizations because you're giving the impropriety of it. Tim Swope brings up a great comment. He says, Larry, get to the part where judges can say, I am the law. And that's not going to happen because it doesn't exist. Membership of a judge in an organization that practices invidious discrimination gives rise. So I think we can skip this one because we don't have this issue. It's not like the judge belongs to, Teamsters United local and Lynette and her tortoises are part of it. Like that's where this would become apt. So we can skip that part. I don't want to waste your all's time. I want to give you the meat. We can skip the desserts. Okay. I want to give you the main dishes here. Canon 3, Code of Judicial Conduct. Canon 3. Again, we're back in the Florida Supreme Court. A judge shall perform the duties of judicial office impartially and diligently. Judicial duties in general. The judicial duties of a judge take precedence over all the judge's other activities. The judge's judicial duties include all the duties of the judge's office prescribed by law. Here you go. You can't say, I am the law. He's following rules that are prescribed by law. This is what you were asking, right? Here you go. Here's your answer. in the performance of these duties, the specific standards set forth in the following sections apply. Adjudicative responsibilities, and there are a lot of them. So let's just go through them. I don't know if we are even going to go through the commentary, but let's at least do this, and then at least you'll have in your minds a general idea of what these rules specify and require the judge to do and be. Okay. Adjudicative responsibilities. Number one, a judge shall hear and decide matters assigned to the judge, except those in which disqualification is required. Now, this one is interesting because look, think about it. This is literally where we are. He needs to hear and decide matters, something that he hasn't done in about 6 months already since the petition was filed, assigned to the judge, except in those which disqualification is required. Now that disqualification is required, he's not going to hear or decide the matter, hopefully. Okay. Number two, a judge shall be faithful to the law and maintain professional competence in it. He has not been faithful to the law. He's been violating Jeremy's First Amendment right to free speech, Second Amendment right to bear arms, Fifth Amendment right to due process of law. Which ones are? What am I missing? I wrote them out because due process of law and even right to a speedy trial. So Sixth Amendment. So First Amendment right to free speech. Second Amendment right, because he's responsible for others and he can't use his YouTube channel. Like, what the hell? Right to bear arms, Amendment number 2. He deprived them of Amendment number 5, which is right to due process. Of course, it also has the right to not testify against yourself. And 6, the deprivation of his right to a speedy trial. So that's 4. He's violated 4 amendments. I mean, he's literally almost batting a 50% average. All we need is one more amendment. And I guess it would be Amendment 10 because these are federal amendments as they are applied to the states. So technically, Judge DeThomasis has already deprived Jeremy of his first, second, fifth, sixth, and as the 10th Amendment applies it to the states. He's literally violated 5 amendments in one case. I mean, that is impressive. All jokes aside, to violate 5 amendments in one case is skill. It's absolutely skill. Somebody said the 4th Amendment. I think the right of people to be secure in their persons against, because it's a search and seizure one. I'm trying to see if there's anything I'm missing. Probable cause describing the place to be searched. I mean, unreasonable searches. I don't think that Jeremy has been unreasonably searched yet. Yeah, and I thought it was like the 1st and 2nd until we started getting deeper into it and we realized due process of law, that's the 5th Amendment, that's part of the 5th, and the right to a speedy trial, because now it's delayed 6 months and he's still without the ability to carry and he can't freely speak on his channel about this stuff. Access to property is not in the amendments. That is, I guess you can kind of say it is it the 6th Amendment? Which amendment is it? I always forget. When you can't take property without proper compensation. You know what I'm talking about. Those of you who are constitutionalists in the chat, there is I remember learning about this in property. You cannot be deprived of your property without due compensation, but that's when the government comes in and takes away your property. And wait a minute, isn't that what happened here? It's not the 4th Amendment. No, it's not the 4th. It's not a seizure of, it's a person, papers, in effect. Eminent domain. Yeah. Which amendment is eminent domain in? I forget. Eminent domain amendment. I remember, I mean, your guys are taking, it's the 5th Amendment. Yeah. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. That's what it says. Thank you. So, but the 5th Amendment is already violated because, due process is deprived. So it's kind of like cum si, cum sa. The 5th Amendment, you can say, is violated twice. Okay. But if you want to count amendment, First Amendment, right to free speech, Second Amendment, right to bear arms, 5th Amendment, right to due process, and possibly deprivation of property without compensation. Sixth Amendment, the right to speedy trial and get this issue resolved as quickly as possible, has been violated. And the 10th Amendment, as the federal amendments are applied to the states, because 1, 2, 5, and 6 can also apply to state law, not just federal law. So those are the 5 that Judge DeThomasis, he's batting literally 50%. He's violated 50% of our Bill of Rights amendments in one case. Again, staggering, literally borderline impressive. Like, I'm almost impressed as to how crooked this man is. A judge shall be faithful to the law and maintain professional competence in it. A judge shall not be swayed by partisan interests, public clamor, or fear of criticism. Look at that. Look at that. A judge cannot be afraid of being criticized by others. Like, whoa, whoa. And he's like, people are bad-mouthing me on the internet, like, ooh, the internet, how scary. Come on, man, get your shit together. It's right here. It's right here. Is it the 14th? I'm sorry, you guys. I forget. You're right. Maybe it is the 14th Amendment. So anyway, who's counting anymore? At this point, 1 is too many, okay? In my book, if you're a judge and you're violating someone's constitutional right, like I had a case where a police officer violated, many cases, but one comes to mind, where a police officer violated my client's Fifth Amendment right or Fourth Amendment right to be free of search and seizure, and the judge ruled in our favor. 1 is enough. 1 is enough. And in this case, we have 4 at least, and possibly a total of 5. Okay, so that's crazy. That is crazy. 1 is enough to remove him from the bench if he's doing it consistently, which he has. And we have 5 here in one go. Okay. Number 3, a judge shall, this is back to the adjudicative responsibilities under a judge shall perform the duties of judicial office impartially and diligently. A judge shall require order and decorum and proceedings before the judge. I don't think he has really violated this one yet, other than just consistently interrupt and cherry pick. But I mean, his courtroom is pretty orderly. I will give him that. And he does keep it orderly, but he does love the sound of his own voice. A judge shall be patient. I think he's lacking in that department severely. Dignified. Nope. Courteous to litigants. Again, one of them, not the other. Jurors, which we don't have yet. Witnesses, we don't have yet. Lawyers, missed. And others with whom the judge deals in an official capacity, and shall require similar conduct of lawyers and of staff, court officials, and others, subject to the judge's direction and control. Number 5, a judge shall perform judicial duties without bias or prejudice. That is literally the motion to disqualify, because he's being biased and prejudiced. Prejudice. A judge shall not, in the performance of judicial duties, by words or conduct, manifest bias or prejudice. And he's clearly done it here, including but not limited to bias or prejudice based upon race, not here. Sex, nope. Religion, no. National origin, no. Disability, no. Age, no. Sexual orientation, we don't know yet. Or socioeconomic status. We finally got one. We finally got one. A judge shall not, in the performance of his official duties, judicial duties, by words or conduct, manifest bias or prejudice, including but not limited to bias or prejudice based on socioeconomic status. Remember him going off on Jeremy saying, well, you make your money on your YouTube channel, and look at the poor Lynette, who is, He's not saying it, but his conduct gives him away. And you, this rich YouTuber, Mr. Jeremy Hales, you are in a completely different position, and you are abusing your channel, and you need to shut up and sit down and stop using your YouTube channel. And he hasn't even heard the facts yet. He is definitely acting in a biased and prejudicial way based on Jeremy's socioeconomic status and possibly Lynette's socioeconomic status. I think that is pretty much clear. Okay. This section, and shall not permit staff, court officials, and others subject to the judge's direction to control to do so as well. This section does not preclude the consideration of these factors when there are issues in the proceeding, when they are issues, right? And which they're not. They're not. Jeremy's ability to earn a living has no bearing on this case at all. A judge, number 6, a judge shall require lawyers in proceedings before the judge to refrain from manifesting by words or gestures or other conduct the same thing. I'm not going to reread it. You guys get it. Against parties, witnesses, counsel, or others. This section 3B6 does not preclude legitimate advocacy when those factors are issues in the proceeding. Again, kind of repeats number 5, only this is the judge and his staff, and then this is the judge and the lawyers before him. Number 7, a judge shall accord to every person who has a legal interest in a proceeding or that person's lawyer the right to be heard according to law. A moment of silence for Jeremy and his lawyers, for number 7 has been violated so many times, I can no longer count how many times Judge DeThomasis interrupted Jeremy's lawyer in that last hearing in January. A judge shall accord to every person who has a legal interest in a proceeding or that person's lawyer the right to be heard. It's the law, says Robert Knapp. Exactly. The right to be heard. The judge has been actively, forcefully, repeatedly depriving Jeremy and his lawyer of speaking in his courtroom. So much is clear. It's not even a question anymore. So this canon is being violated on a regular basis. A judge shall not initiate, permit, or consider ex parte communications. That means when one party contacts the judge and the other party has no idea what's going on. So let's say Silverman emails the judge privately on a Friday night and goes, "Hey, judge, I just wanted to tell you what a great job you did. And I'm going to be filing another motion on Friday or whatever next week. And just wanted you to be aware of it. Send." And he did not copy like Randy or Doreen on it, or at the time, Mark Feather, right? That would be ex parte communication. You're communicating to the judge without the other party knowing, ex parte. Or considering other communications made to the judge outside the presence of the parties, there it is, concerning a pending or impending proceeding, except that, now we have some exceptions. Excuse me, where circumstances require ex parte communications for scheduling. Okay, so some of this stuff, again, is not going to apply. We don't need to read all of it. I just want to focus on, so we got 7, because I want to read the commentary. 7, we want to read maybe 1, 2, 4, maybe 5, just the socioeconomic status, maybe 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, briefly. Number 8, I need to keep a list. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, so that I don't forget. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. All right, let's see. Number 8, a judge shall dispose of all judicial matters promptly, efficiently, and fairly. Oh, violated. Easy. Number 8. Number 9, a judge shall not, while a proceeding is pending or impending in any court, make any public comment. Cannot make any public comment that might reasonably be expected to affect its outcome or impair its fairness, or make any non-public comment that might substantially interfere with a fair trial or hearing. The judge shall require similar abstention on the part of court personnel subject to the judge's direction and control. Interesting. Hold on a second. So the message that I got from his buddy saying, "I'm asking for a friend." Do you guys remember this? I'm going to play it for you if you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to play it for you. It's on my channel. It's a 42-second video. It's very quick. It's a former judge who is a friend of Craig C. DeThomasis, because he admits to it. And he says, well, listen.
Thank you for calling Foreman and Associates. How may I help you?
I'm watching Larry on YouTube right now, and I know his buddy Jeremy Hales loves people to phone flood. So is that what Larry also, is that how he thinks our justice system works?
Mm-hmm.
Should we just phone flood the courts until they can't do business anymore? Is that his legal strategy? I'm asking for a friend.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm not certain about that. Are you calling on behalf of someone who's needing legal assistance?
No, I'm going to be filing a bar complaint against Larry. So tell him to buckle up. Bye.
Okay. All right.
There it is. So with that in mind, again, let's read number 9 one more time. A judge shall not, while in a proceeding, make any public comment or make any non-public comment that might substantially interfere with a trial or hearing. The judge also shall require similar abstention on the part of court personnel subject to the judge's direction and control. So he cannot make if Judge DeThomasis had any hand in this message that I received, he violated canon 3 parentheses 9, right? Or 3, is it? Yeah. 3AB, 3B9. There we go. 3B9. This section does not prohibit judges from making public statements in the course of their official duties. That clearly was not an official duty, or from explaining for public information or procedures of the court. This section does not apply to proceedings in which the judge is a litigant in a personal capacity, which is not the case here. Okay. People are saying I'm blurry. Let me see if I can refresh. Give me just a second. And make sure that I'm not. On my screen, I am not blurry. I apologize if you are seeing me being blurry. Okay, so number 10. A judge shall not, with respect to parties or classes of parties, cases, controversies, or issues likely to come before the court, make pledges, promises, or commitments that are inconsistent with the impartial performance of the adjudicative duties of office. I don't think we really have that in this case. A judge shall not commend or criticize jurors for their verdict. No, okay, that doesn't apply. We don't have a jury yet or ever, because it's a civil case, but you could, it's a family court case actually, but it could come about. A judge shall not disclose or use for any purpose unrelated to judicial duties non-public information acquired in a judicial capacity. So if he learns, let's say, acting as a judge in a case, that, I don't know, Microsoft is being sued, and he sees the writing on the wall, the jury is about to enter a verdict of guilty or whatever. And Microsoft, as soon as this news becomes public, Microsoft stock is going to tank. It's going to plummet. It's going to hit rock bottom. And he's like, oh my God, I need to sell all my Microsoft stock as quickly as possible. He can't do that because that would be a conflict of interest. He has learned that information in the capacity of a sitting judge. He didn't learn it by watching the news or anything like that. He can't use that sort of information. It's been acquired through his official duties. So that would be one example. Okay. Insider trading. Exactly. That's the term for it. Thank you. I'm stinky knickers. I couldn't think of the term, but I think I described it pretty aptly. People are saying I'm not blurry. That's good enough for me. So it might be your internet. I do apologize. It might be mine. I don't know. Maybe it's going in and out. But at least you can hear my voice. That's the most important part. Now, C, administrative responsibilities. And we have a few of those as well. A judge shall diligently discharge the judge's administrative responsibilities without bias or prejudice. Violated this one. and maintain professional competence in the judicial administration. Violated that one as well. And should cooperate with other judges and other court officials in the administration of court business. Court officials includes lawyers, and he has definitely been violating that as well. A judge shall require staff, court officials, and others subject to the judge's direction and control to observe the standards of fidelity and diligence that apply to the judge and to refrain from manifesting bias or prejudice in the performance of their official duties. Another violation. A judge with supervisory authority for the judicial performance of other judges shall take reasonable measures to assure the prompt disposition of matters before them and the proper performance of their other judicial responsibilities. Prompt disposition, again, violated this one because he's dragging this case on. It's going on 6 months. Number 4, C4. A judge shall not make unnecessary appointments. A judge shall exercise the power of appointment impartially on the basis of merit. A judge, I don't think so. He can't use nepotism or favoritism. I don't think that applies here, so we're going to skip that one. Disciplinary responsibilities. A judge who receives information or has actual knowledge that a substantial likelihood exists that another judge has committed a violation of this code shall take appropriate action. So his friends, if and when they see this, may be under a duty to report him to the proper authorities, meaning like the Board of Judicial Commission, the Board of Judicial Commission, Judicial Qualification Committee. I forget. Every state calls them different things, and I don't know what it's called in Florida. Chat, you may be able to help me out and inform everybody on this. A judge who receives information or has actual knowledge that substantial likelihood exists that a lawyer has committed a violation of the rules regulating the Florida bar shall take appropriate action. So this applies to judges about judges, judges about lawyers. Acts of a judge, the discharge of disciplinary responsibilities required or permitted by Section 3D are part of a judge's judicial duties and shall be absolutely privileged. See, there it is. Remember, you people asked, can he be sued for his actions? Unfortunately, no, he cannot. He has absolute immunity. No civil action predicated thereon may be instituted against the judge. That's a fact. It's in the books. It's in the law. I already knew it. I didn't have to read it, but there you go. Now you've actually seen it. Disqualification. Now, this is interesting. This is what Jeremy's lawyers are now trying to do. Number 1, a judge shall, that's a must, shall disqualify himself in a proceeding in which a judge's impartiality or herself, or in a proceeding in which the judge's impartiality might reasonably be questioned. So impartiality, if it's reasonably might be questioned, he needs to step down, disqualify him or herself, and in this case, himself, if the judge has a personal bias or prejudice concerning a party or a party's lawyer. I mean, boom, that's it. If he has shown that he is incapable of ruling on this case, he's constantly badgering Jeremy and his YouTube channel and his way of making money he's clearly got issue with. He has deep-rooted issue. I do not believe that Mark Feather can go feather himself because there's no way. He lied to me. He cannot get this completed in 15 minutes. He obtained a tape. Like all this stuff that he is, I'm sorry for lack of a better term, barking about, because he is barking at the lawyers at this point about lawyers who are not even there to defend themselves, like Mark Feather, and saying they've acted improperly to the point of saying they have been lacking candor before the judiciary, basically saying Mark Feather lied to me. That's what he's saying in legal speak. Lacking candor before a tribunal literally means you lied to the court, and lied to the court means you lied to the judge. Lawyer lied to judge. Candor before the tribunal. And he said those words at one point or another. I remember the words candor and like the court, or candor to the tribunal. Shout out to you, Mark Feather. I mean, I swear, you are with us in spirit, although you are no longer on the case. You are with us in spirit, my friend. We got you. We got you, my friend. Mark Feather. This is a feather that I got. It's part of an ink and feather set that I got in the when I was in Italy in the Vatican. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, it's kind of gorgeous. I wonder if like the Pope has one of these too. He probably does, because like popes like to be very antiquated, and a lot of times they do things for show, even when they don't need even though when they don't need to, but like probably not on a regular basis. I don't think he uses a feather quill to write on a daily basis, but when he's like signing an official document and he's going to be on camera or whatever, I'm sure the Pope brings out one of these. And they're really cool. You can get them in the Vatican and many other places when you travel in Europe. All right. A judge has a personal, so when they have that, or personal knowledge of disputed evidentiary facts concerning the proceedings, we don't have confirmation of that, but there it is. That's all we need. If he has shown bias or prejudice towards Jeremy or his lawyer, he needs to step down. This is clear. He has refused 3 times to disqualify himself. We will talk about the third motion to disqualify. Sorry, not the motion, because we talked about that on Sunday with Megan. There's a playlist, by the way, for all of these videos. Speaking of, I need to add this video to the playlist. It's part of the What the Hales saga. There should be like 7 videos in there now, I think. 7 videos at least. Yeah, so you can follow along. Just go to playlists. Yeah, 7 videos. What the Hales is saga. We had Jeremy and George Hales on the channel on last week, a week ago on Thursday. Then I did a TLDR version on Saturday. I got the threatening I'll sue you, I'll bar complaint your ass from the former judge in Florida who's buddies with DeThomasis. That's on there. Then Megan and I go over the motion to disqualify. It was a very long 5-hour stream. So if you want some juicy intel, I mean, that is the video for you. Megan did a fantastic job joining me. Shout out to you. And thank you for the raid once again. Then we did the What the Hales review reading of Judge DeThomasis himself. And then yesterday we started doing the reading of the injunction. It's already at almost 100,000 views. So, and now we're doing this. And then, like I said, in an hour, I'm going to be on Popcorn Planet. And tonight, after Jeremy premieres his video at 5:30 at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to go live. And I'm going to talk about the latest order. So when the judge received the third third motion to disqualify, which Megan and I covered on Sunday, he finally ruled on it yesterday morning, and only after he was nudged, by the way. And so we're gonna read that tonight as well. And we're not done, by the way, so stay tuned. Don't leave yet. And don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel. Of course, you know the drill. Don't forget to turn on notification bell so you get notified anytime we go live or we premiere a new video. And of course, if you're so inclined to join on as a member, I know there are super chats pending. I will get through all of those. So if you want to ask a question, if you want me to notice the question, because the chat is slowed down, but it's still flooding with like over 6,000 people in here. Or almost 6,000. It was over 6,000 for a second, and I think people are probably going out to lunch or something. But lots and lots of questions, and I will be answering every single one of those. So if you have a question about anything that we're covering, either today or later today or right now, please feel free. And super chats are always read by me. Okay. So a judge shall disqualify himself or herself in a proceeding in which a judge's impartiality might reasonably be questioned. Right? He needs to disqualify the judge. If also the judge served as a lawyer in a matter of controversy, he has to step down. Not the case here, so we're going to skip it. If the judge knows that he or she individually or as a fiduciary or the judge's spouse, parent, or child, or any other member of the family residing has an economic interest, again, not the case here, so we're going to skip that one. The judge or the judge's spouse have within a third degree of relationship of either of them, of such a person, is a party to the proceeding, or an officer, director, trustee acting as a lawyer, is known by the judge to have more than just a de minimis interest that could be affected by the proceeding, or if the judge's knowledge is likely to be like he's going to be a material witness. That's another reason to disqualify. The judge's spouse or a person within the third degree of relationship to the judge participated in a lower court. That's not here. The judge, while the judge is candidate for judicial office, has made a public statement that commits or appears to commit the judge with respect to parties or classes in the proceeding, an issue in the proceeding, or controversy in the proceeding. And 2, a judge should keep informed about the judge's personal fiduciary economic interest, because there may be a time when it changes. Again, not the case here, so it does not apply. Remittal of disqualification. Now, judge who is disqualified may disclose on the record the basis of the judge's disqualification and may ask the parties and their lawyers to consider, out of the presence of the judge, whether to waive disqualification. If following disclosure of any basis of disqualification other than personal bias or prejudice concerning a party, which is our case here, so disqualification cannot be waived, the parties and lawyers without participation by the judge all agree the judge should not be disqualified and the judge is then willing to participate, the judge may participate in the proceeding. But because we have bias and prejudice, this does not apply at all. The agreement shall be incorporated, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So what did we say we wanted to read, right? We had on the commentary section, this is the last thing we're going to do in this video. We want to do 3B, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Okay. 3B, I wrote them down. So 3B, 1, 2 are not even listed. So let's jump to 4. The duty to hear all proceedings fairly and with patience is not inconsistent with the duty to dispose promptly of the business of the court. Judges can be efficient and businesslike while being patient and deliberate. So they're not mutually exclusive. They're not mutually exclusive. Hashtag buckle up. You can hear proceedings, be fair and patient, and also dispose of cases promptly. He has not been fair, he has not been patient, and he's definitely not disposing of the case promptly. It's already been 6 months. It's already been 6 months. All right, what about 5? A judge must refrain from speech, gestures, or other conduct that could reasonably be perceived as sexual harassment. I don't think this applies here. And must require the same standard of conduct of others. A judge must perform judicial duties impartially and fairly. A judge who manifests bias, now this applies. A judge who manifests bias on any basis in a proceeding impairs the fairness of the proceeding and brings the judiciary into disrepute. Facial expressions, very important. Body language, that aggressive body language that he does, right? In addition to oral communication, what he speaks can give to parties or lawyers in the proceeding, jurors or the media and others, an appearance of judicial bias. A judge must be alert to avoid behavior that may be perceived as prejudicial, and he's definitely not done it in this case. 6 is not even listed, so that's good. 7, Canon 3B7. The proscription against communications concerning a proceeding includes communications from lawyers, law teachers, and other persons who are not participants in the proceeding, except to the limited extent permitted. To the extent reasonably possible, all parties or their lawyers shall be included in communications with the judge. Whenever presence of a party or notice to a party is required by this section, it is the party's lawyer, or if the party is unrepresented, the party themselves, who the notice shall be given to. An appropriate and often desired procedure for a court to obtain the advice, of a disinterested expert in a legal issue is to invite the expert to file a brief as amicus curiae. Don't worry about that. Certain ex parte communications are approved to facilitate scheduling. We don't care about that. A judge may require a party to submit proposed filings of fact and conclusions of law. Remember when he said, this is titled a memorandum of law. And then he's like, but it's not a memorandum of law. How can you make that judgment? I mean, come on, man. So long as the other parties are apprised of the request and are given the opportunity to respond to the proposed findings and conclusions, a judge must make reasonable efforts, including the provisions of appropriate supervision, to ensure that these rules are not violated through law clerks or other personnel on the judge's staff. So maybe calling a lawyer in Kentucky, not the best idea. Maybe a violation of a judicial canon. Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? If communication between the trial judge and the appellate court with respect to proceedings are permitted, that doesn't apply. And then I think we skipped 8, right? Or no, we didn't. 8 and 9. We wanted to read 8 and 9. In disposing of matters promptly, efficiently and fairly, a judge must demonstrate due regard for the rights of the parties to be heard and to have issues resolved without unnecessary cost or delay. Oh my God, it is right there in writing. It is right there. In disposing, I'm going to read this in the context of Jeremy Hales. Are you ready? Shout out Jeremy and George. Canon 3B8. And by the way, before I say this, you know I am a practicing attorney, right? For those of you who are, like, may not know who I am, I practice in the arenas of criminal defense and personal injury in Kentucky and Indiana. Okay? So if you need legal assistance on the criminal side or personal injury side in Kentucky, anywhere in the state, in Indiana, preferably southern Indiana, we won't go like further than Indianapolis probably. We can, like, literally my office can help you. You can call. Today is our last day of free consultations, so there's only about 3 hours left before free consultations expire. And tomorrow we institute a policy of paid consultations again. So we had free consultation February that is expiring in 2 hours and 50 minutes. So just hashtag buckle up. Anyway, in disposing of matters promptly, efficiently, and fairly, which he hasn't done it promptly, he hasn't done it efficiently, and so far he hasn't done it fairly. Judge DeThomasis must demonstrate due regard for Jeremy's rights by not violating his First, Second, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment rights of the parties to be heard, such as his lawyer, and to have issues resolved without unnecessary cost or delay for 6 months, as he has done in this case. I mean, come on. Come on. I mean, this literally spells it out, and he's just actively violating it. Containing costs while preserving fundamental rights of parties also protects the interests of witnesses and the general public. You guys are all involved in this. Frankie Sherickenbach, I'm sorry, I'm butchering that. John Naylor, Charles Williams, Laura Lee, Vicky Halbison, Liz Barnes, Psychology of Nine, Cherry Adamski, Beaver C, TBB Wolfie. This is the general public. It preserves fundamental fairness for you all. For you all. I do not do real estate law, but I do know people who are good at this stuff here. Hashtag buckle up. Fourth Amendment right. Well, it wasn't search and seized. He was deprived of his Second Amendment right, Lori. That's a great question. Right to bear arms. So a judge should monitor and supervise cases as to reduce or eliminate dilatory practices. Now, that's a beautiful word. I want to translate it for you all. A judge is supposed to avoid. What does it mean? What does dilatory mean? I know what it means. I want to show you all. I want you to see this word. Dilatory. A judge is supposed to avoid being dilatory, or in this case, eliminate dilatory practices. I may be mispronouncing it, but I don't think it's dilatory. I think it's dilatory. Tending to delay or procrastinate, slow, tardy, intended to cause delay, gain time, or defer a decision, a dilatory strategy. There it is. He's not supposed to act in this manner. A judge should monitor and supervise cases so as to reduce and eliminate delay or procrastination in order to cause delay. He cannot be slow or tardy in his practices, avoidable delays, and unnecessary costs. A judge should encourage and seek to facilitate settlement, which he has not done, but parties should not feel coerced into surrendering their right and to have the controversy resolved by the courts. Excuse me. Prompt disposition of the court's business requires a judge to devote adequate time to judicial duties, to be punctual in attending court, and expeditious in determining matters, which he has failed to do time and time and time again under submission, and to insist that court officials, litigants, and their lawyers cooperate with the judge to the end. And the problem is he's so busy attacking everyone in his courtroom, he's not doing his duties. And it's very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Now, the last one we wanted to talk about for today in this video is Canon 3B9 and 10. Their restrictions on judicial speech are essential to the maintenance of the integrity, impartiality, and independence of the judiciary. A pending proceeding is one that has begun but not yet reached final disposition. An impending proceeding is one that is anticipated but not yet begun. The requirements that a judge abstains from public comment regarding a pending or impending proceeding continues during the appellate process and until final disposition. Okay, so I guess it's not as relevant as I thought it was going to be. Now, what was the bias? There was a bias and prejudice, and there was the they did not include the socioeconomic status in the commentary. I guess they didn't. They didn't. And then bias and prejudice. Let's see if there's any commentary on that. Disqualification. Here we go. 3B5. We read this one. We read this one. Okay, so there's no more. There's no more. Okay. All right, you all. I guess this is a good place to kind of end it. We covered this is very, very dense. So if you need to watch this video a couple of times, absolutely do so to understand the lengths that this judge has gone to deprive Jeremy of his rights and to violate all these judicial canons over and over and over again without any regard to the law, without any regard to Jeremy's rights, is just unbelievably, it's just staggering. So thank you, Summer Storm, for joining on as a member to the channel, as well as Mike Grevsen. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. A lot of like Swedish, Nordic names in the chat have been popping up more and more. Robbie Williams, welcome back to the channel as a member. Mad Shami, welcome to the channel. As well as, oh, that's it for that. Okay. Tammy Hoshiyama, thank you for the super sticker. Oh my God, I love your laughter. Thank you so much. We were laughing earlier in the beginning when we were watching that video. Buckle up, Buttercup, says Lisa Wilson. Shane Cook says, hashtag buckle up, watching while eating shepherd's pie and tea, for tea from Wales. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you guys are learning something. It's all about teaching. What separates me from like much of the rest of LawTube is I love to educate, and I belong in this category called edutainment. I am somehow, don't ask me how, I'm able to combine very, very dry, like legal concepts and make them fun and interesting and entertaining. And that's why edutainment, I'm not the pure educational, like, today we're going to learn about, and I'm not pure entertainment. I'm like, hello, how's everybody doing? I hope you're having fun. I'm able to like try and combine those two. So if you like that kind of stuff, this channel is absolutely for you. Ghost of Recon, thank you so much. Hey, if I ever run into you at a bar in Kentucky, which you probably never will, because I don't really go to bars since I'm sober, but I'm no stranger. I've been to plenty of bars in the last 5.5 years that I've been sober. I just hang out and get a non-alcoholic drink. I'll be sure to buy you a drink, so hopefully a non-alcoholic one, because if you give me an alcoholic one, I'll have to pass it on to somebody else. You're doing a heck of a service. I'm trying, man. I really am, because I think this case is one of the most egregious violations of constitutional law that I have ever seen in my entire existence on the planet. Let that sink in. Judge DeThomas's actions in the deprivation of rights of Jeremy Hales and George by extension, and their channel, What the Hales, is the biggest deprivation of law I have ever seen in my existence as an attorney. And I've seen some heinous shit. I've seen police officers kill people. I've seen jailers kill people. I've seen, I've represented people of all shapes and sizes and all colors and all sexual orientations. I don't discriminate. If the client pays me, we will represent them. I don't care whether you think you're innocent or guilty. My favorite phrase is just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. You know what I mean? Somebody has to prove you guilty. And if a prosecutor can't do that, you walk away. Sorry, not sorry. Welcome to the Constitution, baby. Welcome to America. This is not Soviet Russia. This is not, Pinochet's Chile. This is not Nazi Germany. This is not Italy under Mussolini. This is a free country, and we have rights, and those rights need to be maintained. And this is one of the most egregious violations I have ever seen by Judge Craig Constantine DeThomasis in Levy County, Florida. And like I said, I have traveled all across our great land, and I've traveled all across my great Commonwealth of Kentucky. And I've been to some very, very small places with some very, very shady shit going on, which shall remain unnamed publicly. But I can tell you, I've witnessed it personally myself. And even that stuff never rose to the level of what I'm seeing happening in Levy County, Florida. I mean, it's just staggering. It's just staggering. So I have to. If not me, then who? If not me, then who? Gordon Wilson says, I'm so here for this. Keep up the great work, Larry, watching from Glasgow, Scotland. Thank you so much for your support. By the way, do you all like my shirt? Let me stand up so I can show you guys. I have my Rick and Morty shirt for the day. I hope you all like it. It's one of my favorite shirts. It's actually my lucky shirt. I forgot about that, actually. I forgot about it. Also, just real quick before I forget, I am trying to get on Megyn Kelly's show. So if anybody knows how to get in touch with her and wants to like put a bug in her ear, I think now is the time. If we want this thing to go national, this may be the first domino that needs to fall. I will just go out and say it. Okay. I'll just go out and say it because I was kind of sheepish last night and I didn't want to, but today I'm going to say it. I've already reached out with my publicist to all of our local news stations, and we are waiting to hear back from them if they want to talk about this case, and probably have the Haleses on, and they may have to fly up here, or we're going to go down there. I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's all logistics. First, we got to find an interested party. Once the mainstream media gets a hold of this, it's over. It's over. This thing is going to go national. It's already national and worldwide. But once the mainstream media gets a hold of it, everybody who has no idea what's happening or what's going on will be in on this. So that's what we're trying to do right now. Myself and my publicist, shout out to you, Steve Tomanchek. I love you, brother. We've reached out to everybody, WDRB, WHAS, Wave 3, WBNA, Courier Journal. I mean, we reached out to everybody. So we're just waiting. They may not even know that, they may not even know about this story or how big it is yet. So even sending it to them is not enough yet. So I am in the Louisville area. Yes, Cami Dyer. Tyrant Alert says, thank you for making these court documents into plain English. And again, that's part of edutainment, as I alluded to before I even saw your comment. So you're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Claire Kershaw, and we'll continue all tonight. Don't forget, we're going to be on Popcorn Planet with Andy in about 40 minutes or so. I don't know if he has a video link up yet, but I know that he is going to be live in 40 minutes, 35 minutes. Okay. All right, let's continue. Claire, and tonight at 6, I will do another video, and I will do like 2 back-to-back videos. So you're going to see like 3 videos from me today, this one and 2 more, and then one on Andy's channel on Popcorn Planet. And then we're going to continue Lynette's saga of her injunction tomorrow, because we're barely 10% done with it, and there's still so much more. Claire Kershaw, Larry, I have come here from What the Hales' channel. Welcome. I think you're amazing. Thank you. And you brighten up my day. Thank you for supporting What the Hales. Hashtag buckle up. Hashtag cherry picker. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Roy Lonsinger, welcome back. Love that you're exposing how the government is treating citizens. Absolutely. That's all part of it. Smile Donna Lynn, thank you. I have learned a lot from all of you about the law. Thank you again for sharing all that you do. Debbie Minton, do you think Silverman will go if Judge is recused? I don't know. Maybe that's a great question. Megan Fox raid. Yes, Megan Fox raided my channel. That was really awesome earlier today when we first started streaming. You are the best, my friend. Keep it up. Thank you, Debbie. You're awesome. No, you're awesome. And we're besties now. Debbie is like my mole, and she's my private investigator. Andy Signor, no space in surname. Yeah, is it Sign? Is it you just pronounce it Signor? Double karma. If I always call them Andy Signori for some reason because it's like Italian for Signore. What would you like? You know, I don't know. Don't ask. I'm weird. Kevin Robbins, hashtag buckle up, love your content. Thank you so much. Deborah Roth, thank you, Larry, for giving great support to the Hales as well as breaking down the terms of law so we can understand them. Buckle up. Hashtag buckle up. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Have you watched her deposition? If not, you've got to. I think the pieces of it are on the Hales' channel, so definitely we're going to do that. Pebs W, do these rules apply to the Supreme Court of the United States? Absolutely. 100%. I mean, the rules that we read are specifically by the Florida Supreme Court, but they're usually copied and pasted to like all districts in the United States, including our Supreme Court judges. If so, how are they held accountable? In the same fashion. In this case, it would be the United States Senate and the United States House of Representatives would move for impeachment proceedings if a judge is unruly or not fit to sit on the bench anymore and needs to be removed. That would apply to all federal judges, not just the ones sitting on the bench of the United States Supreme Court. Willie Borzash, thank you so much. Does this judge realize he can lose everything due to his actions? I don't know if he does yet or not. I really don't. I guess we shall see. Terry Louie, thank you so much. Jeremy Pace, that's the 14th Amendment. Yep, thank you for that. Double karma, 9th Amendment. Other rights, the enumeration of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Maybe that's the one I was thinking when I kept saying 10th Amendment. Again, these are amendments that lawyers like. You never. When was the last time you saw a lawyer quote like the 9th or the 10th Amendment? It never happens. We have the 8th is used a lot when people are imprisoned for draconian lengths of time. The 7th, I think, is the civil right to a jury. 6th Amendment right to counsel is the most common, even though this is not the case here. But in this case, it's the 6th Amendment. What did I say? My brain is lagging. You'll have to excuse me. The 6th Amendment right to speedy trial has been deprived. So it has, obviously, each amendment has several rights in it, right? 5th Amendment is used a lot. I plead the 5th. I plead the 5th if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out Dave Chappelle. I plead the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. He's hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious. And it's literally maybe that's where Lynette went. She went to the Dave Chappelle law school or law school of the Honorable Dave Chappelle. And she was like, I plead the 5th because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just going to plead the 5th. Double karma says 9th Amendment, other rights, the enumeration of certain. Oh, yeah, I read that. Thank you very much. Kimberly Schuler, thank you for your generous donation. Are you tracing the text messages? Hashtag buckle up, Florida Snowbird. Yeah, I guess, in a way. I don't know what that means. Stephen Dobrin, excuse me. Larry, what happens when a judge intentionally violates people's constitutional rights from the bench, but because they have absolute immunity, they can't be sued for that? Well, then you ask the person who appointed them to remove them, or the the legislative branch will step in, or the executive. Remember, checks and balances, right? I know people like to joke that like, I do the like Illuminati. I don't do it intentionally. I just literally I bring my hands in, and that's part of my. Obviously, of course, everybody's gonna be like, Larry's the fucking Illuminati, and I'll take it. I'll run with it. I really don't care. I love it. That's more credibility in my book, or discredibility. Who cares? It's all the same to me. Attention is attention, right? It's the judiciary. You have the judiciary, you have the executive over here, and you have the legislative over here, and it's a checks and balances. It's a triangle, right? It's a triangle, and they all balance each other out. So when one is acting unruly, such as in this case, where you have a judge who refuses to follow the law, either the executive, which would be DeSantis, or the legislative, which is the Senate and the House of Representatives, can choose what to do with this judge and either flick him off, the bench and say you don't belong there by impeaching him, or DeSantis can choose to remove him. Again, I don't know exactly how it's done in Florida, but that's how you keep checks and balances. The executive can appoint a judge like DeSantis did with DeThomasis. I mean, this is exactly it. Does absolute immunity include bad faith applications? It depends. That is a very, very complicated question, Stephen, and it's a really, really good one. I'm not going to lie. I could probably do an entire video just answering that. That's how long it would take for me to explain a bad faith application to absolute immunity. So phenomenal question. You're literally giving me video ideas that may be like talking about, I'm going to write this down. I'm going to write this down because that is brilliant. Absolute immunity and bad faith applications when you're acting in bad faith. Can the absolute immunity be somehow lifted, waived, removed? That's a fantastic, fantastic question. Welcome, Stuart White, to the channel. Hashtag buckle up says new to the channel. Sandy Witten says, bring What the Hell's attorneys on your show. Maybe. We'll see if that is going to be a possibility. Charity Christian Academy. Can a judge be required to go through mental health screening? Maybe. That's a good point. Yeah. Kicking with Yaya. The 5-hour stream was a great one. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's in the playlists below. If you're already in the playlist, it would be on this side. Very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Helen Golf, thank you. Some money from New Zealand dollars. You are doing an awesome job, Larry, for George and Jeremy. Love all that you do for what you are doing. Thank you so much. I love you too. Thank you. Suzanne Parrish, hey, thank you for dropping the big bucks. Why is no official taking care of this tool? Your guess is as good as mine, my dear. Time will tell. It's not over. It's not over till it's over. Karen Karsten, what is the process to address corrupt or biased judges besides a motion submitted directly to the problem judge to decide on? I just talked about that. Sorry, I just answered that, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Please go back if you need to rewind. Andrew Oakley, Larry, are you sending all of these points to What the Hales? I believe they've been watching my videos, so it's like an hour's worth of information. I'm sure that they can get a transcript of it if they really need to and send it to their lawyers or whatever. Again, I don't want to take too much credit because it's all out there. And it was actually my sources who tipped me off about the judicial canons. I completely, like, how often do you do a video talking about judicial canon violations of a judge? Almost never. Almost never. This is how rare this case is. This is how much I believe in this case. This is how insane this story is. So don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, join on as a member if you haven't already, turn on those notification bells so that you're notified when we go live. And of course, if you're so inclined, join as a member. I will shout out your name right here, and send us questions with your super chats if you want your question on screen like I'm doing right now. Cherry Adamski, Judge DeThomasis, I think you are referring to Judge DeThomasis, but that's become his nickname now. Judge DeThomasis is trying to make a name for himself. If you saw his excitement about Bud Love, he wants that for himself. I mean, maybe he's trying to rewrite law, rewrite history, and that is disturbing and disgusting. So I just what I want to say out of my mouth right now, I'm going to refrain from because it's not pretty. Du mil vingt quatre. That's a mouthful. I never had so much disdain for a court judge, and neither have I. This is a first for me as well. Oh, there we go. Paul McLeod, welcome. Thank you for joining on as a member. And also, I saw another one. Book Hermit. Thank you for being a member for 1 month. Oh, well, welcome for your second month. I love how my YouTube worlds are colliding. LawTube, What the Hell's, First Amendment auditors, and more. Watching from Australia, hashtag buckle up. Yeah, YouTube is starting to become smaller and smaller and smaller. You know, like eventually you may see me doing videos with like Mr. Beast and maybe even Legal, maybe with other there's like the number one social media lawyer, I forget his name. You know, I made fun of him in one of his videos. Do you think that's gonna like ruin our future. Somebody was like, well, there goes your chance to collaborate with the man. I think it's stupid, completely stupid to think that I make fun of the man one time in one short and that's going to, to the contrary. I think he's going to laugh at it and go, yeah, he's probably right. That video was not that funny. I just made it on a whim or whatever. You really have to like truly like bash somebody and be like, person is a freaking fool, and I would never do, a video with them, to the point where they'd be like, okay, I guess he doesn't want to do a video with me. But just like making light fun of their inability to be humorous in one video, like who cares? It's all fun and games, honestly. To me, as you all know, YouTube is not, unlike the What the Hales is, YouTube is not my primary mode of making a living. All of your donations are, of course, going towards maintaining this channel, creation of shorts, creation of content. But I do make my primary living with my law firm. Like I said, we practice in Kentucky and Southern Indiana, and we do personal injury cases such as car accidents. We love car accidents, truck accidents, bicycle accidents, motorcycle accidents. We help people on a day-to-day with those cases in all of Kentucky and Southern Indiana. I mean, if you do have like a really horrific case up in Northern Indiana, don't hesitate. We'll probably take you on. But we won't go there for like a minor fender bender, when it's just a missed case, minor injury, soft tissue type, cases. It's just too much. We'll be spread too thin if we go up that far. But yeah, I represent Craig Hendry. This is all public. There's no attorney-client confidentiality because he went public with it. And once he did, all bets are off. I can talk about it. So he's a First Amendment auditor. LawTube, of course, is on the case. I'm the cross between LawTube and First Amendment auditors. I've been for a very long time. It's now finally actually becoming more and more apparent because now I'm representing some of these people. Travis Hines is on my radar, and I'm on his radar. I believe he wants to file some additional motions and have the judge rule on them before I come on. But I think I may be on the case. People are talking about it openly. So again, this is not a secret. I'll be the lawyer on that case, and he already published my contract on his YouTube channel. So there's no attorney-client confidentiality there either. He has breached it, and there's nothing wrong with it. There is no rule for a client to breach attorney-client confidentiality. As soon as he does it, the veil is lifted, and I can talk about it. But the moment, let's say I do it, I always like to explain, because people ask, like, Larry, you're talking about cases that you represent or are going to represent people on. As long as, let's say, John Smith comes into my office and says, Larry, I want you to represent me on this case. And I go, okay, cool. Wow, that is the most amazing case I've ever heard. And I go on my YouTube channel and say, you guys are not going to believe it. John Smith just walked into my office with the most amazing case, and I can't wait to share it with you all. And John Smith would be like, what the hell, man? Why did you go public? I didn't ask you to talk about my case. I didn't want people to know I'm hiring you. I didn't want people to know what my facts are. I didn't want you to share it with the world. That I would be in trouble. I would be in deep trouble, because the number one confidence of an attorney is attorney-client confidentiality. There's nothing greater. We take those secrets with us to the grave. Now, sometimes you're permitted as an attorney to talk about cases generally. Like, and I do this all the time. I one time represented a man who was on a bicycle and, got hit by a car, broke his leg, and This is not a real case. I'm just giving an example. General terms, again, you're permitted. Specifics, you're not, and especially do not leak out client information. But it's cool. LawTube, What the Hales, First Amendment auditors are all coming together in one beautiful synchronous, symphony. Sylvia Giddy, welcome. Thank you for joining on as a member. Same goes for you, Sandy Witten, and PS. Thank you for joining as well. Deborah Raymond, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for your generosity. Soldier Mom says you should look into reviews of his students. Wait a minute. Is that the rate my pro? Oh, I forgot about, he was a professor. Oh my God, you're a genius. Oh my God. Rate my professor. That's right. Which school did he teach at? Holy shit. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel. Oh my God, that's another video idea. You guys are geniuses, I swear. What school did he teach at? Gainesville? Mm, I need to know which school. So hopefully the chat shouts it out. I think, wasn't it on, excuse me, on his IMDb page? Craig DeThomasis. Let's see. Craig DeThomasis, adjunct law professor, University of Florida. There we go. Got him. Got him. University of Florida. Gainesville. Got him. View all professors. Select department. Law, legal. I'm going to have to like look this up later. Show more. There's a lot. There's a lot of professors, obviously, in the legal department. If somebody can find it and send me a link, that would be fantastic, because I cannot find him. And I don't know if I can search by name. Like I thought I should be able to, but for some reason, he's not coming up. Unless he didn't teach in the law department, that would be weird. Like, what would he be teaching? I'm in, 100%. Excuse me, 100 professors in the law department in the University of Florida. Those who can do, those who can do, those who can't teach. Absolutely right. So if you guys find it, please send it to me. I can't find it right now, but it's on my list. That's really good. That is really, really good. Thank you, Soldier Mom. That $2 is going to go a long way. Again, duly vinked Quatre. Thank you for the stream, Larry. Happy leap year. Yeah, happy leap day. Every 4 years, February 29th. We're living in a very rare day that is only every 4 years, February 29th. Sent an email to Governor DeSantis's office. Exactly, Lisa. That is what you're supposed to do. That's how you get him off the bench. Carla Brikowski. You're great, Larry. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Love What the Hales is. And now me too. I'm officially a fan. Andrew Oagley, buckle up, longtime watcher of What the Hales is. Thank you so much. Crystal Paranormally, can a judge really interview the witnesses and decide who can and cannot testify? No, he cannot decide credibility, but if he determines like this witness has nothing to offer and will not be able to provide any useful information, I mean, in theory, yes, but practically, probably not. Very, very never. If you've seen the movie The Trial of the Chicago 7, when Judge, what's his name? Hoffman tries to like prohibit a very essential key witness to testify in front of the jury and does it behind closed doors and then excludes his testimony, is completely improper. So very, very improper stuff for the most part. Sometimes it's merited. Sometimes, in this case, it seems very, very shady at best and shaky and completely improper at worst. Okay. I will need the department. Which department did he teach at? Because I can't find him. I cannot find Judge Craig DeThomasis on the thing. So if you find it, send me the link. I'm very interested of what his students reviewed him at on ratemyprofessor.com. I think it's like there's a couple of them. There's like Rate My Professor. I remember choosing classes when I was in college. I was choosing classes sometimes based on like professors, especially like senior year when you just don't give a shit and you want to do some easy classes. You find one that's like 5 out of 5 easy and 1 out of 5, lame. You just take that class and you have a bunch of fun. Like who doesn't do that their senior year? You're an idiot if you're missing out on such opportunities and you're in college. You know what I mean? Just my personal opinion. Jennifer W., what was your reaction when you heard that the judge denied Jeremy's third request to be removed? I was like, okay, saw that coming. You know, honestly, that we all had like 98% confidence he's going to deny because he's unaffected by all this publicity. I think he's eating it up. His ego is like, oh yeah, give me more. Yeah, give me more. Yeah, give me more. Yeah. Army Nurse, thank you so much for your generous donation. Buckle up, Buttercup. Thank you, Danielle Marshall. Shasta's Corner. This judge needs to sign as Dumb Thomas's feather hater circus judge. That would be hilarious if he did that. Of course, it's never going to happen, but I agree with you. Kontiki Bay. Thank you for making this mess understandable to all. You are welcome. Such a miscarriage of justice. So many civil rights violations. Absolutely agree. Can Jeremy and George ask for a jury trial? This is a civil case. I'm going to have to ask my source, by the way. That's I think it's family court. So I think my gut instinct is to say no jury allowed. It has to be ruled by the judge, which is even worse, even more reason to disqualify him. You know what I mean? All the more reason to disqualify him because he has gone off the rails completely and, scarily enough, unapologetically. It's terrifying. I would be terrified if I was in this courtroom. You know, emergency me. As someone who has worked with victims throughout my career, I'm appalled. So there you go. There's an insider that has absolutely nothing to do with this particular case, but has been working with victims throughout her career. I am appalled by this judge and the victim's advocate. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your support. Goes both ways. Welcome Linda Evers as a new member. Thank you for joining. Mad Shammy says his students beat him out for last election. People keep saying that, and I still don't quite understand what this means, but if somebody can help me out decipher this, I would very much appreciate it because I'm still a little confused. What does that mean? They beat him out for the last election. So send me an email. It's on my YouTube channel. Monica Marcel, love you, Larry. Love you too, Monica. Thank you. Also been watching the Hales for the last year. Thank you for bringing this to light. Absolutely. This needs to be fleshed out, aired out, and this judge needs to go. The judge needs to go. Thank you all so much. By the way, don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications before you ooh, interesting stuff coming. I will be silent on it, but I will let our protagonists here share it with you all. So I'm not going to say anything, but just know lots of fun things coming. Lots of fun things coming. Babs Macier, thank you for your generosity. Debbie Minton, he taught in 1983 as an adjunct professor. And according to his IMDb page, by the way, he's done more than that. He has taught there from like my internet is lagging. Let's give it a second. He has been there for a few years. There we go. 1983 to 2019. So until he became a judge, he taught there for like 36 years. There's got to be a page on him. There's no way that you teach for 36 years and you don't have a page on you. That would be insane. Patriot for Life Mima says, if we the people do not do not stand against this, who will? Exactly. Physically, not verbally. Physically, not verbally. Peaceful protests for awareness should be planned. I agree. That I agree with. Linda Evers, is it worth this judge losing his career because he will not step down? I believe that's what will happen. I mean, again, I don't wish him like ill will for the rest of his life as a lawyer. I just want him off the bench. I don't want him to he can practice law. I don't care if he practices law. He might be a decent lawyer. I don't know, but he definitely doesn't deserve on the bench. It doesn't deserve to be on the bench because he's suffering from a very severe case of robitis, and he needs to be removed or step down, which he will never step down. So he needs to be removed. Period. The end. No question. That's it. Like I said, at one point I was like, he just needs to be removed from the case. Now I'm absolutely convinced after all the stuff that I've seen that he needs to be completely removed from the bench. Period. The end. No questions. Mad Shammy, he was running for the same district. Oh, his student beat him. Oh, I see. And then was he the one that passed away? Mad Shammy? Was he the one that passed away? The student passed away. And then Judge DeThomasis was appointed by DeSantis. Lilith, he taught trial practice, if you can believe it. Interesting. Joan Sclafani, thank you so much for joining on as a member. Megan Fox said DeSantis is in Levy County today. Again? Whoa. That's news. That is news. Hold on, I'm checking her X account. Unless she said it. Unless she said it in her video. No, she said it in her video. I don't see a tweet on it. It may be old news because that is from last week. I thought he visited him again. It's possible. But you're saying he's in Levy County today? Hold on. Let me text Megan. Do you have confirmation that DeSantis is in Levy County today? ? My chat is saying that they heard you say that, period. I recall that he was there last week, but is he paying him another visit? ? All right, let's see. Let's see what she says. Try the philosophy department ethics. I can do that while we're still here. Rate my professors, University of Florida. View all professors. What did you say? Philosophy ethics? Philosophy department, philosophy ethics. There is no ethics. Let's try philosophy. Philosophy. Okay. 60 professors. Let's see if we can find him. Show more. I have to click a few times, so give me just a second. Let's see if we can find DeThomasis. Nope, he's not under philosophy either. Thank you for joining us as a new member. Jackie Webb in Scotland. Probably taught before computers were in use, so no ratings, but he's still been teaching through 2019. No. I disagree. I don't believe that. I think he's up there. We would just need to find him. I did see the 10-star review after it might be him. I think he's the one who left it, either him or Lynette. Buy fire ant sculptures from Zed's place, #buckle up. I don't know what that means, but okay. Thank you for your donation. And Lisa Zellman, hopefully grudge judge, is not teaching ethics because he has no idea what is and isn't ethical, or he would have already removed himself from the case. Completely agree. All right, that catches us up. Megan has not replied to me yet. I don't have any additional news to share with you. I am aware that his lawyers are currently writing the motion, according to my sources. So the writ, I should say, to remove Judge DeThomasis from this case. I wish I could bounce you all into Andy's, redirect you all to Andy Signor, but I don't know if his live is live yet. I don't see it. That's really unfortunate. Where else can I send you guys? Oh, Danny is on. Danny is doing day 6 of Hannah Gutierrez. Oh, never mind. Okay. Okay. All right. I can redirect you to Andy's. So if you guys have any more questions, we're gonna keep going through super chats for another maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, no more than minutes. There he is. There he is. Give me a minute. Okay. Take your time, man. Take your time. Just as soon as it is up, just text me so that I can change the redirect link. Because I went over. I thought I was going to be done at 2:30, and the super chats kept me for an extra half an hour, which I'm not complaining. I love answering questions. I mean, you're supporting the channel at the end of the day. It's the very least, at the very least. But at the same time, you guys have questions, and I have answers 99% of the time. So that's why I love answering questions for you all. And yes, I did do a full video on the robing room on the judge. And Popcorn Planet is now joining in on this. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, support the channel, whatever you want to do in every way. I found where he taught call me. Debbie, can you just send me the link? Can you just email me the link? I don't have time for phone calls. I literally don't. I have a stream that's about to start in 6 minutes with Andy, after which I'm going to take a break so I can eat breakfast. And I'll probably eat breakfast at 5 p.m. again today, like I've been doing all week. I saw that you called. I just haven't had, just email me, please. I can't keep up. It's flying. Information is flying at me, and I'm trying to keep up as best I can. Okay. DJ Radis. Hey, watch my exclusive interview with, wait, what? No way. Is this another one of your parodies? Did you release another parody? The Return of Lynette. Wait, I think I found it. Wait, is this real? Is this a real interview? Or is it a parody? Oh, MG Law. What's up, brother? How you doing? How you doing, MG Law? I saw some of your courtroom stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. We are turning the tides on this, baby. All right, let's do this real quick while we're waiting on Andy. Mad Shammy. He ran for the DJ spot, district judge spot. The student beat him. So DeThomasis ran for the district judge spot. One of his students beat him. Then after that, a different judge passed away or stepped down, and DeSantis appointed him. Got it. Finally, I got it. Thank you, Mad Shammy. Thank you for the intel. This is very invaluable stuff. All right, let's check this out. What do we got here? This is an interview between DJ, what is it called? Sorry, DJ Radis and Lynette, allegedly. Let's see. Yeah. This is the wrong one? Okay. Which one is the right one? Exclusive Lynette Preston spills the beans. Is that the one? Lynette Preston spills the beans. Or I plead the fifth. I kind of watched this one, but it's just she says I plead the fifth over and over again. Okay, it's this one. All right.
Good evening, Otter Creek, Florida, and the
Lynette Preston interview explaining her actions. It's all passion. Let's see.
Shady Bunch members and DJ Radis fans. Today, we interview Lynette Preston and spoke about her claims of being bullied and her previous drug use.
I've never taken drugs.
So, but you have openly admitted before that you do. There are even screenshots.
They are all fake. Debunked. I played the fifth.
Okay, we will come back to that later. So how has your time been so far in Otter Creek?
When I first got here, I was the talk of the town. Everyone wanted to know me because I had amazing turtles.
Oh, but what happened?
Wait, were you the talk of the town because you had amazing turtles, or you had some amazing turtles, if you catch my drift?
The residents discovered I was just here to try and scam money from them, and they all ended up hating me.
But why would you try and
Oh.
scam your friends? That seems a bit, and I don't use this word often enough, odd.
I'm disabled in the head, and I don't know any easier way to make money. I'm not about to get a job. That seems like a pretty hard way to make money.
Okay, but how does Mr. Hales come into all this? You claim he has bullied you.
I tried begging for him to allow his fans to donate money to me, and he said no. That, in my opinion, is bullying me. Why does he deserve to make money and I don't?
But how is that bullying? Can't you just make your own YouTube channel and content? Why do you have to be spoon-fed everything?
Because it's not fair. I want his money. I want his love. I want his
This is
affection
so
like he
good.
gives George. John uses and abuses me like a dirty rag stripper bars and clubs used to clean the dance poles.
That is a terrible visual image I now have in my head. I see here you used to be a stripper. Can't you go back to that to earn money?
Who's going to pay to see me shake my wrinkly, droopy boobies?
So how are you going to make money?
I'm going to set up 1,001 GoFundMe accounts and beg for the people online to give me money for a lawyer so I can sue Jeremy. I will make money the honest American way by suing him for everything. I will lie through my 3 teeth in court to make him appear
Oh my God.
to be the worst person in the world. Then all his riches will be mine. Then everyone will want me again.
So let's get back to your drug usage. My notes say you use oxy pain medication. Is it just prescribed to you or do you have other sources?
My doctor stopped giving me the good stuff back in Northport, so I buy what I can whenever I can. Sometimes I trade it for homeless people to stay in my shed as they seem to get it whenever they want.
Have you ever had a bad encounter with someone staying in your shed?
I had these 2 drug addicts who stayed for a couple of weeks. When they left, they stole 1 turtle, or it could have been all the turtles. They claimed they were
One
taking them
turtle
to the
or
car
all the
wash in
turtles?
Bronson to wash them, and they never brought them back.
This is genius.
How did that make you feel that you got scammed the same sort of way you wanted the scam the residents of Otter Creek?
I plead the 5th.
Well, that's all the time we have tonight. Thank you, Lynette, for speaking with me, despite the fact your answers didn't make much sense, and you have shown us all that you are just in it for money. On next week's show, we will interview Mr. Thomas Collins and discover how he is becoming an inspiring journalist with the help of Shara the Sharp Michelle Austin. Don't forget to click subscribe.
Oh my God, bro. And when did you do this? This is 3 weeks ago. So this is well before this all went down. Look at the date. Look at the date, February 3rd, 2024. I know it's kind of small on your screen, but it's there. Just trust me. You go subscribe to this guy. He's freaking hilarious. And how did you, like, I want to know how you mimicked her voice. That is awesome and both terrifying at the same time. But anyway, I'm very curious as to how you got that. DJ Radis. He says, I've been making videos for the past 6 months on this. I mean, since it was filed, basically. Yeah, it's an AI parody, clearly. No question about it. But anyway, hashtag buckle up. We're going to Popcorn Planet with Andy Signor. I apologize, Andy. I've been butchering your name for years, and hopefully you can fix it today. Last one, Skipper of Veteran Nation says, since the judge throughout the deposition, Jeremy can post it all out now, right? Not yet. Not yet. I think there's still a little bit more that needs to be done. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting close. I'm enjoying my tiers of opposing counsel. And Andy is starting right now. And I'm going to end the stream and see you guys. Oh, wait, one more. Lisa Jewett, Jeremy's lawyer, Griffiths, in a previous lawsuit was the circuit judge. He stepped down and Craig was appointed to that vacancy. I think that goes back to that other case of Jeremy's, just my opinion. Very possible. Thank you for your last minute donation. I'm glad I caught it. And thank you all for joining. I hope you all learned something. We're going to do more videos. We're going to go on Popcorn Planet. We're going to do 2 more videos tonight, and we're going to continue Lynette's saga tomorrow. So thank you all for joining, and I will see you all in Andy's. I'm going to be bumping all of you over there. So let's go. See you there.